Very much so. But we are going to move on to Mel's pick for the October 30th show, and that is the team of Aphrodite making their debut in the tournament right here, and that is Utami Hayashishita and Saya Kamitani from Queen's Quest taking on the team of We Love Tokyo Sports, the team of Saki Kashima and Fukigen Death from Oedo Tai. Mel, take it away.
You know, I'm just going to, right before we get into talk about the match, I love the entrances and individual uniqueness of the entrances that all of these girls have. Aphrodite coming in with, again, a choreographed thing. You know, Saya Kamitani nailing that backflip just effortlessly, showing why she is the Wonder of Stardom champion. Poor Utami, completely bailing on it, trying to figure out how to do it. It was absolutely adorable. It really humanizes her because she's usually coming in like that dominant, strong-willed person. It adds a
The
layer.
ace.
Yeah, and she is, but it adds a level of diversity and dynamic to her. But then Kashima Saki and Fukigen Death, I mean, I have not heard the announcer ever squeal or scream because of these guys. You know, he usually turns around, but he moves the microphone away from his face. Usually they attack him. This time they just turned around and threw the newspapers at him. He squealed and nearly barreled out of the ring. It was
That was funny.
absolutely hilarious to
That
get
was
started.
humorous, yeah.
And that was before the bell rang. Once the bell rang, the match was utterly incredible. I mean, Utami Hayashishita was the dominant force in this one. To be fair, she was the not just physically the largest woman, but the most powerful and dominant one. She took very much control of this. There was one point where she had a phenomenal double drop kick to stop a double team that was happening on Kamitani. Um, I do want to note that I know the newspapers aren't technically weapons, but it still amuses me that they use them and like it's
Rolled
almost
up,
like
those
comedy.
don't feel good rolled up, somebody hitting you with them.
Yeah, exactly. But it's clearly not enough that the ref will disqualify you. That being said, Saya Kamitani and Utami Hayashishita, they work so well together. The absolute unity of the two of them, very reminiscent to me of Lij in New Japan. There's just zero communication that needs to happen because they just know. They know exactly what the other is doing, where they're going to be, and how they're going to do it. Um, Saya Kamitani, though, nailing Saki with the Star Crusher to pick up 2 points for Aphrodite. I love this match from start to finish, even with the little comedy inserts in there. It just added to the overall entertainment of this match. Andre, what do you think?
Oh, I thought a wonderful match. There, the torture act spot by Utami and the big boot by Saya Tasaki was actually a wonderfully beautiful spot. But then the end came coming with with Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows Magic Killer, then into the Star Crusher. I very much enjoyed the shout out back to Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows.
I know
baby.
Carl Anderson. I don't know who that dum dum is that you keep mentioning with it, but and I know the Magic Killer was done by Evil and Sonata, also of Lij, who I've already described.
Thieves.
I
But
mean,
yeah, I thought great match overall.
Changing the kettle there. I mean, where did this come from?
I know.
Anyway.
So from here, we're going to give you a quick wrap up after the second night. We have Mafia Bella, Aphrodite, and We Love Tokyo Sports, all with 2 points coming out of this night. And then Karate Brave and Black Desire, each with 1 point after their draws on night one. And then Peace Rock actually has not competed yet, so sitting at 0. And then Meltier, however you want to call that one. I think it's more Meltier than Meltier.
I think Meltier.
Meltier and My Fair Lady, both with 0 points there. And then I should bring those up every time I bring them up. But in the Blue Goddess division, you have My Hemi, 7-Up, Wild Venus, the FWC, and O2 Line, and BMI 2006 teams with 2 points in the Blue Goddess division after this night. Did I have that right? Do I have the right one up there? Yeah, so yeah, I do. But again, it's a little blocked by the QR code. Sorry to say. And then you have the New Arrows and Wingori both with 0 points after the second night. And then so we move on to, once I get that thing back up because it keeps getting blocked every time I do this. Moving on to the November 5th show, and we start out with Mel's pick for the November 5th show.
Ooh, yes. I get all the power matches, don't I? I love these power matches. So one thing I did note about this one right away, though, very, very vocal match. And when I say vocal, I mean a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling. It does add to the overall feel of it. This one was just a little bit louder than most. I did have to keep the volume pretty low, mostly because of Nanae. Nanae was very, very into this match, very passionate about this match. All four of these women, very obviously having a history with each other, as per their promos before the shows. Um, and very not nice to each other. This was a very aggressive match, very, very heavy hitting match. And again, as a power match, I'm not surprised. Nane catching a figure four on Mirai close to the beginning, where Yu was able to kind of follow up, bouncing off the ropes and hitting her with a, I think it's a death from above, belly to belly drop on there. Very vicious, very personal match. Ami was able to get you in a Boston Crab, and not even in the regular one, the one where she has her on the thighs, which I thought was impressive for both of them. I did not expect you to be flexible enough to be able to do that, but she very pleasantly surprised me. Not very smart decision of Ami to go chop for chop with you.
No,
However, we
no.
mentioned privately you huge, powerful, mean, nasty sounding chop.
Sound
I
like
would,
a gunshot.
yeah, I would say almost, shouting out one of your favorites, Will Ospreay has some of the loudest chops in the game. I would say that that's
Or
the
a Minoru
sound level is
Suzuki level.
comparable with you and Will Ospreay. So, something to keep in mind there, Mr. Ospreay. You might need a lady soon. Um, the atomic drop from Ami onto Nane looked super, super rough. I don't know what happened there. It just looked like she had a very sore bottom after that. There was one point in the match where Ami did seem a little lost. And almost didn't really know what to do. It seemed a little frustrating for Mirai, and it kind of seemed like there was a little bit of confusion going on for just a little brief moment. Um, there was um, a cannonball from you in the corner onto Mirai. Mirai still able to kick out after that cannonball. And I again, to bring up, comparison, our local favorite Cutthroat Colton Kelly, I think, is the only one who does a cannonball comparable to you that does the same amount of damage and lands with that same kind of pinpoint accuracy. Um, but at the end, this ended up, I believe, going to a time limit draw,
Yeah, so
where
yeah.
um, both teams ended up just with 1 point. And I got to say, you very, very, very sore winner. I mean, she was
Yeah.
technically a winner out of this, but you could tell there was a distinct, almost, I feel like 7 Up thought that they had this in the bag, and the way they were reacting afterwards, slapping Mirai in the face and everything, was very like, we should have won this, to me. And to be honest, like, I felt that it added to the dynamic of the match. But I just want to shout out Mirai. Every slap that she took, she did not falter, she did not step back, she did not back down. It was almost like every time you slapped her, she was just going, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?"
Yeah.
Just defiant and not willing to back down, not willing to essentially show weakness to these powerful vets. This match was very emotional, I felt, and very, very tense. I loved it. I thought it was a great match. Andre, what do you think?
The biggest takeaway for me of this is the second time limit draw in
Mhm.
3 nights. Usually you see one, maybe two, in through an entire tournament. We've already seen two in the first 3 nights of the tournament. So I like that the bookers are looking at these things like maybe these draws are they might be more common going forward in this tournament. I am very okay with that.
It adds a new sense of variety and excitement because, like you mentioned in before, it adds this, like, it could end at any point in time and in any way, and it could be a shocker. I love it.
Yeah, very much so.